Hello dear students, today we can discuss the last topic of our chapter, the global influence of the Russian Revolution and the USSR. The global influence of the Russian Revolution and the USSR, that means United States of Soviet Russia. The existing socialist parties in Europe did not wholly approve of the way of the Bolsheviks took power and kept it. So here you see that the existing socialist parties in Europe were not wholly approved the way the Bolshevik that took power and kept it in Russia. But the possibility of a worker state fired people's imagination across the world. So, but what happened here? A worker state, it captured the imagination of the people across the world. Then in many countries, communist parties were formed. In many countries, or the countries were influenced by this Russian Revolution, they formed communist parties, like the Communist Party of Great Britain. For example, the Communist Party of Great Britain. The Bolsheviks encouraged colonial peoples to follow their experiment. That means here the Bolsheviks asked its colonial peoples to follow their experiment. And many non-Russians from outside the USSR, they participated in the Conference of the Peoples of the East in the year 1920, and the Bolshevik founded Comintern. Comintern means an international body or an international union of pro-Bolshevik socialist parties. That means an international union of Bolshevik supporters of socialist Bolshevik supporters. Some received education in the USSR's Communist University of the Workers of the East. By the time of the outbreak of the Second World War, the USSR had given socialism a global face and a world stature. That means by the outbreak of the Second World War, the socialism and the USSR, it captured the people's imagination and also a global influence it acquired. By the 1950s, it was acknowledged within the country that the style of government in the USSR was not in keeping with the ideals of the Russian Revolution. You see that what was the ideals of Russian Revolution? It was not followed in Russia or in USSR by 1950s. In the world socialist movement too was recognized that all was not well in the Soviet Union. So from here what you understand, what was the ideals Russia followed in the time of Russian Revolution was not followed later, and it was recognized the socialist world socialist movement also. A backward country had become a great power. Its industries and agriculture had developed and the poor were being fed. But it had denied the essential freedom to its citizens and carried out its developmental projects through repressive policies. So you know that here it denied the essential freedoms to citizens and carried out some developmental projects through which policies? Suppressive policies. And by the end of the 20th century, the international reputation of the USSR as a socialist country had lost, though it was recognized that socialist ideals still enjoyed respect among its people. So here what happened? By the end of the 20th century, this international reputation of its fame in the world that as a socialist country, that was declined. But in each country, the ideas of socialism were rethought in a variety of different ways. So here we can say that the Russian Revolution, it influenced the world countries, and many of the countries, they formed their own communist parties. But later, this USSR lost its ideals. What was the ideals it followed in Russian Revolution? Later, it was declined. So in short, we can say that in many countries, communist parties were formed on the line of Russia. It gave the world a new economic system known as socialism. The Bolsheviks encouraged the colonial peoples to follow their experiments and inspired a number of freedom movements in other countries also. Many non-Russians from outside the USSR participated in the Conference of the Peoples of Communist, the Peoples of the East, and the Bolshevik founded Comintern. Comintern, you know that what's Comintern. Some even received education in the USSR's Communist University of the Workers of the East. So you know that what is Comintern? An international union of pro-Bolshevik, means supporting Bolshevik socialist parties. So here, by the time the Second World War broke, socialism had acquired a global face. Though by the end of the 20th century, what happened? The image of USSR as a socialist country declined. It lost its image as a socialist country by the end of the 20th century. Yet, its socialist ideals were respected and rethought in many ways, suiting individual interest. So, dear students, here we can conclude our chapter. Thank you. Have a nice day.